Hello everyone, this is Stephanie. Uh, Recently we made this pretty little spring flower buds bracelet. I know I had a little hard time with it because the colors were so dark that you couldn't really see them on camera. But it looks beautiful on, and if you do it in darker colors, you'll see when you're wearing it in the sun, the purple really comes out. But at any rate, I was talking about possibly making a necklace to go with this, so I thought maybe I would just not put the embellishment around the top, and that way it would curve and make a really pretty necklace. So I tried that, and what happened was the beads at the top, this is right angle weave, if you remember, and they're 4mm crystals, they sort of went forward a little bit on the neck, and nothing drives me more crazy than when a necklace falls forward. It's top heavy, or it doesn't fit right, it doesn't lay right. So I had to think of something other than that 4mm crystal at the top. So this is what I came up with. So here's what I started with. What I did was I took the 3 4mm beads, which we used for the bracelet, and I used 1 3mm at the top that goes around your neck, and it turned out, I think really lovely. I like playing with it. Actually, it's so much fun to play with. I like sort of twirling it around. You can tell because I'm putting it in this, in this position, and I took a picture of it in this position. What I've done, so I've done 3 4mm and then 1 3mm at the top, which gave it a beautiful drape. Okay, I changed a couple other things also. I did a toggle clasp, and I put a couple of beads at the end from the necklace. This is actually the toggle clasp I used for the how-to video, and I thought, well, let's just use it. And it doesn't look bad, even though it's matte and everything else is shiny here. And for the loop, I used some 11O seed beads and some O beads just to make it a little different, so that when you clasp it, like so, it's pretty. I mean, you could wear the clasp. Oops, I clasped it. Did I clasp that wrong? Yes. But you know, when you do clasp it, here we go, that's a little better. See how the closure is pretty. So if it spins, which is, I don't know, could spin. I haven't worn it that much. I've just finished it last night. It still looks pretty. You can even wear this as, in the front, or a little bit on the side, or not at all, and just wear, just put this part around your neck. But I thought it came out great. And if you'll notice, another thing I did on this is I left out the little center beads. See, I started another one with the little, because it is a flower, and, this little bead in the center was supposed to be the inside of the flower. On this one, I'm very honest, I just forgot to put it in. I was having so much fun just making it the way it was that I finished it without putting the flowers in. I think you could put the middle of the flower in after if you want, but I just forgot, and I finished, and I said, gee, I really love this. Oh, but I forgot the inside. So here I started one with the little inside of the flower. Let me see if I can get that clear. And clear up. At any rate, by putting that little pearl in the middle, it really did solidify the necklace a little bit. It's much more solid with the pearl. It pulls it together a little bit. It really curves beautifully. That's curved all by itself. I love this too. This is just a little more delicate, but when you put this in, it makes it stronger. A little bit of thread shows here. It really doesn't show here. It's a real strong bracelet, necklace here. So whichever way you like it, you can do it with the little pearls inside, or you can do it without. I think it's really pretty both ways. Okay, so let's see what we're going to need for this. So I'll put this one aside, and we'll just look at the one I was starting again. So this is what you're going to need for the entire necklace. Okay, you're going to need Let's start off with, I have them right here. You're going to need 3mm fire polish crystals. And the color is, I'm going to put the bag right here. Clear that up, let's say. Is Topaz and Pink Luster. Now this comes in a 120 piece pack. You'll need, I wrote this down, let's see. I used 51, but my necklace is a little bit small. So I would not use any less than, let's say, 60, because you're using it in the part of the right ankle weave. So I don't know how, they come 120 pieces. I think they were a couple of bucks at artbeads.com, not expensive at all. So I need those. Here they are here. I just hit my camera, so hopefully I can get it cleared up again. Come on. Okay. And then you're going to need 4mm fire polish crystals, and they're rounds. And this is Milky, Turquoise, Pink, Topaz, Luster. And there's a mouthful, and there's a viewer that I give that information to, and she agreed. So these come in 50 bead strands. So I needed 102 for my necklace, and it is a little small. It's about 15.5 inches. If they come in 50, get 3. Get 3 strands. So you have a little extra. You can get 4. They're very, very reasonable at a couple dollars a strand. You might even be able to find them, rather than ordering them, you might be able to find them, at your local craft store or bead store. Now this is from Eureka Crystals, eurekacrystals.com. They're in Rhode Island, and for any of you who might be in that area, you can always take a look. I guess I'm assuming they have a brick and mortar store. If not, just look at them online. That's Eureka Crystals. I'll put it all in the description box. So I have these. So let's pull those down. Okay, here they are. And the reason I picked this 3mm is that they both have the Topaz and Pink Luster. So they sort of, the color in this sort of milky turquoise, that sort of pinkish color in there is this color. So I happened to have them, and so it was a nice compliment. Okay, so you'll need those. Then you'll need some 15-0 seed beads, and I'm using Miyuki dark gold. They're metallic, shiny. You can change any of this to any colors that you want. You'll need, let's see, some O beads, and I'm using, let me see if I can find my pack for it. I'm using these. They're from artbeads.com, and they're Czech glass jet bronze O beads. I'd get the 8-gram pack. You can use a lot of O beads in this. So I would try and get at least 5 to 8 grams of that. I don't know exactly how many you need. Maybe 200 to 250. I think you get that in an 8-gram pack. Probably more than that. Just take a look. So you can try artbeads.com and see what they are. They're, all these are pretty reasonable price-wise. It's not, you're not getting into the Swarovskis and such. So it's a little more reasonable. So you'll need the O beads. Let's say you'll need some Miyuki drops, or any drops. So what I have here is, I got these at a bead show, and they're from Twisted Sister Beads and Fibers. I love that name. They're sparkling amethyst line smoky amethyst. Now this is there's TwistedSisterBeads.com. I totally love that name. This is a huge amount of beads. You don't need that many. You need, I wrote down, I used 51. I would, get close. I'd get 100, or however it comes. If it comes in, a certain amount of grams, maybe 5 grams or 10 grams. It usually tells you how many beads there are to a gram. I don't know, but this is what I'm using. They're sort of that amethyst color. So we'll need those O beads. Let's see, what else do we need? We need a few we'll need a few 11-0 metallic dark bronze seed beads, and this is and these are Miyuki. The number is 457 if you want to duplicate what I'm making. Okay, you'll need that. And these are just for this part of the clasp. So what I've done here is I've taken 11 O's, 11 O, 11 O, I just thought I'd make the clasp a little different. But you can make it any way you want. You can make it like the bracelet and just make a loop like this and put your toggle through. So that's up to you, but I just thought, well, let's change it up a bit. Okay, so am I missing anything? Let's see if I can get us a little clearer. There we are. Okay, you need a size 10 beading needle. Now, just to give you something that I really love. I love pony beading needles, and not because my name is Bronze Pony Beaded Jewelry. I've always used pony beading needles. They bend instead of breaking. Some of the needles I use, that's size 10s, and I don't want to name names, but they break. I have never broken one of these. They just bend like crazy. So I get a lot of wear out of these. I even keep the bent ones and I straighten them out with with the pliers, and I use them for playing around. So these pony beading needles I think are great. Size 10, size 12. I'm using a 10. We need our little pearls, and these are bronze pearls, and these I had in my stash. So you can get bronze pearls anywhere. You can get Czech bronze pearls, or you can get Swarovski. I think are the best. So this one you're on your own. This is all I have, so this is why I'm using up these. These are actually about, I say, 20 years old. I have them in my stash, and I pulled out my stash when I started beading again, and I had them, and I thought, well, let me use them. So they're equivalent to a 4mm Swarovski, let's say. Maybe a tiny bit smaller, but I don't think so. I think these are actually 4mm. So you'll need those. Okay, so I said, your needle, some 8-pound fireline, stop bead, your beading mat. Okay, so for the first part of the necklace, I keep saying bracelet, which is going to be the right angle weave like it was for the bracelet, you're only going to need the 3mm crystals, the 4mm, and the O beads. So get all your materials together, but for the first part you can just put this out, because this is going to be the whole length of the bracelet is the right angle weave, and then the embellishment is the rest of the stuff. Alright, so get your materials together and we'll get started. Okay, let's get some right angle weave started. So thread your needle with, I'd say, a wingspan of fireline. If you can handle more, then put more on. Leave yourself about a 8 to 10 inch tail, because you don't want to get you don't want to have it too short when you tie it in. So I always leave myself a little extra there. It would be nice to get the entire right angle weave done with just one span of thread, but if you can't, then just put on what's comfortable. So it's comfortable for you to do this. I do suggest sometimes working with longer thread so that you get comfortable working with longer thread. I'm using a shorter thread so I can stay in frame, which is clearly a problem for me, as you probably have seen in my previous videos. Alright, so let's get started. So what we're going to do is we're going to do some right angle weave, just like the bracelet, only we're just going to use one smaller bead at the top to make the necklace get that really pretty curve. So we're going to take an O bead, a 3mm, an O, a 4mm, an O, a 4mm, an O, and a 4mm. So just like the bracelet, we have 4 beads on, except that instead of all 4mm beads, we've got that little 3mm in there to give us that, that curve. Otherwise, it's not going to curve nicely on your neck. It will kind of fall over a bit. Okay, so bring those down to your stop bead and either tie a knot or go, tie or sew through all the beads. Now, I generally don't tie knots, so I'm going to sew through my beads, but you do whatever is comfortable for you. I think tying a knot in this as the bracelet, as I said in the bracelet, is not a bad idea because it's kind of loose. It's a little loosey-goosey because of the O beads. So sew around or tie your knot, and then sew around. So we have sewn around, but I'm going to do it again. So I'm going to sew through. There, sewing up. I'm going to sew through those. So I'm sort of reinforcing it twice here. I go down the little sort of pinky color there. I want to come out this bead. Okay, so there you have it. You've got your right angle weave. So just like on the bracelet, you have the 4 O beads. You're always putting 4 O beads on. You've got 3 4mm, and at the top, that's going to go around your neck right there, you have that 3mm bead. Okay, so next box, you're going to pick up an O, a 4mm, an O, a 4mm, an O, a 3mm, and an O. Okay, now remember we only need to pick up 3 beads now because we're going to attach to this bead. So my thread is coming out of the bottom of this bead. I'm going to come through the top. Do you see how that puts the other pink bead at the top? That's going to go around my neck right there. Whoops. Okay, so now do it again. Sew through. I want you to reinforce every box on this. I have my tail caught. Pull my tail out. There we go. So around. See, it's loose. I mean, it's hard to really work on a project when it's loose. So I say if you can reinforce it, it's much easier to work with. Otherwise, it's flopping around all over the place. Okay. Got that O and the 4mm, and you have 2 boxes now. See? That's cool. All right. So now the thread's coming out of the top here. So when it's coming out of the top, I'm going to add an O, a 3mm, an O, a 4mm, an O, a 4mm, and an O. Don't forget you have to add 4 O's each time, even though you're adding just 3 beads. Just because. Okay, coming out of the top there, I'm going to come through the bottom, and my goal for this video is to try and stay in frame as much as I can. So we'll see how I do. Okay, so see you've got that little pink one's on top. I just turn it over so I can sew through. So I'm going to do my reinforcing by sewing through. Sewing through. Sewing through. And I'm going through the O's at this point. I'm reinforcing everything. Even though when I add the beads, I just add it to the crystal, I want to reinforce around everybody. Okay, so that's to the top. I'm going to go down the bottom. I'm just going to turn it around so that my little pink eyes are at the top. So when my thread's coming out of the bottom, I'm going to take an O, a 4mm, an O, whoops, see I was out of frame, a 4mm, an O, a 3mm, and my 4th O. Main frame. Oh, I'm close. Okay, so they're my 3 beads and my 4 O's. I'm coming out of the bottom. Do you see how that, if when I put this in, that 4mm, that 3mm is going to sit next to the one on top. Okay. See? So around. So around. So around. Go down. 4mm. You can feel it tighten up. It's really a good idea to do this. And come up through that 4mm. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 boxes now. Okay, so now the thread's coming out at the top here. We're going to take an O, a 3mm, an O, a 4mm, an O, a 4mm, and an O, and we're going to come around here. See, the thread is coming out of the top, so I'm going to go up through the bottom of that bead. I'm going to pull. See how that puts the bead on top there? Go down. Oops. I pulled myself right out there. Okay, I didn't turn. Okay, turn it around. Sew through. Okay. Sew through. Sew through again. Go up the 4mm. Pull my tail a little bit. I'm a little short here. Through the top 2, down the O and the side 4mm, and this is what you have. Okay, so you see how it's already curving a little bit. Okay, so that's what we have. So we'll do one more row, or one more box. So here we're going to add an O, a 4mm, an O, a 4mm, an O, a 3mm, and an O. So we're coming out of the bottom. See the bottom of that bead? We're going to go through the top. And pull. See, we have our next box. Okay, so let's sew around. Sew around. I know it's annoying to constantly reinforce, but it really makes the project much stronger, and it makes it much more easy to handle, especially with these O beads. All right, so you've got the, you've got it now. So make sure you always have your, let me see if I can, I don't think I'm going to leave that. I'm not going to tempt fate with trying to zoom in. Make sure you have your little 3mm at the top, the 4 and all the O's, and then the 4mm in between. So you're just making the boxes, the same boxes as in the bracelet, except the 3mm is going to go at your neck. So your neck's going to be, this is the part that's going to curve around your neck. All right, so as far as length of your necklace, okay, I measured the necklace I made, and it was, the bead portion was 15 inches. Okay, and then I would say the clasp. Let me see if I have do I have a little ruler here. No, I have this though. I'd say the clasp will add, let's see, ½ inch, about an inch. So if you want to make a 16-inch necklace, actually let's give that a shot. Let's just put this aside for a second and we'll just stretch this out and see how it comes out all together. Yeah, you can't see the ends of it, but I can. So I'll pull out my tape measure and I'll start it at one end. And so my necklace is, I would say it's 16¼ Yes, 16¼ inches with the clasp. So if I just measure the beaded portion, it's 15¼ so it's about an inch. Now 16¼ is just, it fits me. It fits me to the sort of the collarbones, and I think it just makes it. I would, if given the chance to redo, I would have put a couple more boxes in. But you don't want it too long. You want it to come down to sort of the collarbones. So continue on with your right angle weave, and I'll do the same. And we'll meet back here when you're done with your with the length of your necklace. Don't forget, you're going to make it an inch smaller than than you want it clasped. So take into consideration that you're going to have an inch clasp there. All right, so I will get to work. You guys get to work, and I'll see you in a few minutes. Okay, we're back. Now, I didn't do the whole length of the necklace because I've already made it 3 times. So let's say we're at the end of the necklace. We're just going to make a sample right now. So what we have to do at this point is we're going to start adding, actually we're going to start adding pearls, as in this sample. But before we do that, let's put the clasp on one end. So what we're going to do is we're going to do this little toggle. All right. So before we do anything, I've got a little peyote toggle. Now, if you do not know how to make a peyote toggle, I have a little how-to. It's about 10-15 minutes long. It's probably even less than that. How to make a 10-row toggle. Pause now and go back to my videos, and you'll see a how-to peyote toggle. And it's very simple. I've done this one out of Delica beads like I did in the video, and like I put on here, I kind of liked it. I didn't think that the Delica beads would look good with all the shiny beads, but I think it's pretty. So pause me now if you have to go make your toggle, and then when you come back, we'll continue. Okay, so I'm going to continue on anyway, and then you can meet me back here. Okay, or just watch the rest of this and then pause me and do the toggle. So I've got the toggle done. All right, I know that was confusing. I apologize. And I want to embellish it a little bit. Just because it's small, and I don't know, it's kind of pretty with the little beads sticking out the end. So I've taken a 4mm crystal and 3 15-ohs. Okay, and I'm going to drop that down to my toggle. Okay, so this is what I have. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to skip the 3 15-ohs. I'm going to go down the crystal and throughout the other end of the toggle. And what that does is it sits this little picot on the top. See, that's like so. Okay, so hold this with your hand and grab the another 4mm 3 15-ohs. Okay, slide those down to the other end, like so. Skip the 3 15-0s and go back through the toggle again. And you want to ideally come up through the crystal that you put on the previous side. So come through that crystal. If you don't get up there, just, maneuver your needle so you get up there. Go through the picot, which means you go up through one of the 15-0s at the bottom, across the one at the top, down the one at the bottom, main frame, oh yeah, here we go, and through the crystal again, right, through the toggle. Now I didn't make it through, so I'm going to, through the beads, I'm going to try and make it through the bead by just pushing the bead around a little bit. There we go. Come through the bead on the other side. So this is, you're reinforcing it this way. Okay, so this side of the toggle has got its beads, and now do the same thing on this side. See where you're coming out of, go up the little 15-0 on the edge, the little 15-0 on the top, the little 15-0 on the other side, go down again. Now you can do this as many times as your needle will allow. I say do it, try to get it 3 times done, but I don't know. Oh, that went right through. That was awesome. So I'm going to take advantage of that. It went through the crystal and one of the 15-0s. So I'm going to take it through the top. I'm going to take it through the bottom 15-0, and then try to get it through the crystal and so I'm turning it around, and the other crystal on the other side. So see, I'm just going back and forth. I'm going to go up. I got myself a little stuck here. Up the little 15-0. Just want to make sure that didn't get stuck. Across. Okay. And down. And I'm just going to end up coming out of, just coming out of the top there. Okay. So you're coming out of the top. And you want to just, at this point, just, sew your end in. So go diagonally. This will show you on the video will show you exactly how to get this so it's sewn in. Don't go straight through because you're going to see your thread's going to show. So just go diagonally. If you can only do 1 bead at a time, just do 1 bead at a time. Okay, so I'm here. I'm going to go across. Whoops. This happens to be a pretty tight one. So I'm going to go here. Let's see, where am I coming out of there? I'm just going to go through this one, and then I'm going to end mine. Go around a little bit, whoops, go around a little bit more on yours, just to make sure it's nice and tight. But I'm, just for time's sake, I'm going to end this one, so we can, move on, because this is a longer project than I anticipated. I don't want you to get crazy with, doing a million things. So here, you can even, if you watch the video before you do it, which I often do is watch it through, have this ready. And that way you don't have to worry about it. Okay? Because we still have a bit to go on this guy. Okay, so on the original toggle clasp, I have, so I'm going to hold it this way, and I'm going to count, where's my toggle? There you are. I'm going to count my beads. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm going to put on 5 15-0s. And my 15-0s are out of frame here a little bit, which is fine. 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 5 5/15. On this one, I took one of the pink crystals and put that through. I think on the one we're doing now, I'm going to use one of the green crystals, or the turquoise crystals. So put on 5/15, a crystal. Oops, wrong needle. 5/15, a crystal. Oh, phooey. Okay, see, so that was kind of nuts. I actually took the put the 15-0s on the wrong needle. So it's 1, 2, try again, 3, 4. Leaving it in. You may do the same. You may not. I hope not. Or just learn from my mistakes anyway. So I'm going to take the 5/15, the 4mm. I'm going to bring that down like so. Then I'm now on this one, I did 3. So I think I'm going to do, I think you're going to need an extra one. I do 3, 4, put 4 15-0s on. So you have 5 15-0s there, you've got 4 there. You know, you've got your 5 15-0s, your, oh, look at that. Okay, call me out on it. I went out of frame. Now I'm in frame. So I have 5 15-0s, I've got a 4mm, and I have 4 15-0s. What I'm going to do is I'm going to find the center, somewhat the center of my toggle. So on the diagonal, I need my glasses for this one. On the diagonal, find somewhere where you can get your needle in 2 beads. And mine's so tight that I'm having a little trouble getting through these. Let's see. Come on, you. Maybe I'll have to go through one at a time. So I'll go through this one. Okay, and then I'm going to go through this one. Okay, so I've gone through 2. I hope you can see this on my diagonal. Once I pull it through, I'll hold it up to the camera close. So you see how I've gone through this one and this one, and then I'm just going to pull, and that's going to sort of pull those beads up into place. Okay, so then I have 4 beads here. I'm going to take 3 15-0s, and I'm going to go down this side. Let's see, make sure you can see this, and through the last 15-0. Come on, you. Before and out through the crystal, like that, and out the bottom 15-0. And I'm going to pull. It's a little clumsy, but it will pull into place. You'll see. See? Okay, so pull that tight. And this is what you have. All right? So see, you have the first part of your toggle on. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 5 beads here. Take 4, because the 5th one is, we're coming out here, so we have 4 after that. So take 4 15-0s, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you're going to go through this top crystal to get the other leg on the clasp. Okay, see? Cool, huh? That went on really nicely. Now, what you want to do at this point is you want to go back up and you want to reinforce. So go up, up, and, you know, go up. All right, well, you know what? Let's just do it so it comes out really good. So we're going to go up all those beads. Okay. coming out of the crystal, go up the, put my glasses on for this guy. We're going to come up through this little 15-0 here, up the 15-0s that are attaching the toggle. Now we want to find out where we went through. So we went through here. See? Went through here. Let me make sure we went through there. We went through here. Right here. Whoops. I'm sorry about that. That was clumsy. We went through here. So that's one. Okay. This part's tight. But it's good because you want this strong. That's one. And then we went through this one. Okay. So on the diagonal. So pull it through that one. It's not as clumsy as it looks. It really is sitting quite nicely. And go through your 15-0s. Go down the little 15-0 next to the crystal and the 15-0 underneath the crystal. Then we're going to go down the I got myself caught there. I'm going to have to pull that out a little bit. Okay, see, I mean, is there ever a video that I do that I don't have to pull something out? So I'm going to pull that out. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to need to rethread my needle. Okay, so we're here. I want to come down. Let's see, make sure we're, yes. Okay, so we want to come down here. So we've reinforced. Go through here. Okay, and now we've got our toggle on. Okay, so why don't you get your toggle done, get it on to the end of your necklace, and then we'll come back and we'll start adding our pearls.